Chapter 1 of Dreams and Realities. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by BettyB. Dreams and Realities by Rosa MULHOLLAND. Corcomroe. The Burren Hills are grey as death, but warm with life their lap of green. Their airs are sweet as Mary's breath, the flower-sweet breath of Maury Queen. Conor O'Brien of the Kings, how sound you sleep in Corcomroe! The night wind in the lone choir sings the hymns of many a year ago. The wild bird folds his wing and broods upon the broken altar stone. The loud rain beats in angry floods, O King, where you are lying lone. On shattered shaft and carven face, down yonder in the grass-green aisles, through hollow arch and vacant space, the loving sunshine looks and smiles. With solemn chant and sacred rite, with burning spice and torches flame, they bade you rest who loved the fight, they gave you praise, denied you blame. They ripped the chancel's paven floor, and laid your warriors there in rows. Their requiem is the tempest's roar, their souls are sped where no man knows. And are you free from earthly ills, so peacefully you seem to lie? Or do you roam the Burren Hills by night and raise the battle cry? Do ghostly clans ascend the ridge to fight the battle o'er again, that built of men a human bridge to cross the stream was blocked with slain? Oh no, it was the sea-bird's shriek I heard just as the moon went down, you bearing still in silence meek your scepter marred, your broken crown. The grass grows thick upon your host, they hear no pipe, they hear no drum. Their mouths are shut, their feet are dust, the brave are lame and deaf and dumb. May Mary of the Fertile Rock befriend you all in Corcomroe, you Conor and your fiery flock of many 100 years ago. End of section 1.
The Irish Franciscan by Rosa MULHOLLAND. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. A barefoot friar all in brown, weather-beat face and storm-rent gown, tattered hood over a shaven crown, travelleth as the sun goes down. Whither ere morning goeth he? Over the bog he moveth free, bog so brown it were hard to see that brown man travelling patiently. Hidden under his threadbare vest, he holdeth one close to his breast. O Lord, in what poor place of rest this winter's eve thou harbourest? Deep in the pools the red lights die, darkness veileth the western sky, only the plovers cry and cry amens to prayers as they flitter by. Who are these, thou barefoot man, weak and weary and under a ban, who meet thee in the starlight wan, Colum and Patrick and Adamnan? Three with torches faint and white, threading the holes to give thee light, bowing before the One of might thou bearest with thee through the night. Now the dawn opes in the east, there's the altar and here the priest. Welcome now to the last and least who hunger for the Master's feast. Table of rock and cloth of moss, gold and silver are Mammon's dross. Rude is the stone and rude the cross. O Christ our gain, O world our lost. Ye banned and outlawed of the faith, shrive ye now with bated breath. Hither the hunter hasteneth, fear not the little pain of death. Shine the moon on the curling sea, sighs the wind in the white thorn tree. Forth from the bough as the gale blows free swingeth a figure dolorously. A barefoot friar all in brown, weather-beat face and threadbare gown, girdle of rope and shaven crown, swingeth he as the moon goes down. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Our Lady of the Irish Hills by Rosa MULHOLLAND. Read for LibriVox.org by Eva Davis. Once upon a summer night, while the red was in their skies, and their grass grew high and pale, stood I there and raised my veil, lingered there and loosed their eyes in a faint celestial light. And my eyes said unto theirs, that so loving looked in mine, Loving, I have come to ye hither, make it known of me, so the world may see the shrine I have built me of your prayers. Yet, saith Mary with a sigh, Naphan's purple hills are lone, and my shrine unvisited, when the red is in their skies, and their grass is overgrown. For my answer listen I. Queen and maid, the angel saith, with world hurry, rushing feet seek thee in thy palaces golden builded, and in ways jewel lighted, as is meet splendour for a world-wide faith. Holy Irish hills are bare, sunshine makes their only gold. Flower and grass their jewels be, their sad music's the wild sea. Purple lieth in their fold only of the mystic air. Tender Lady Queen, the world ne'er will track thee to that shrine where the sea-birds sing thy praise, and the windy clouds upraise banners wove of rain and shine, star and moonbeam never furled. Saith Mary, anywhere I can draw the world at will, through the lonely singing sea, singing love perpetually, to the blue 'tween hill and hill, and the world shall praise me there. Love is more than pearls to me. In the holy Irish hills love abideth, and world gold and world jewels manifold are as dust before the ills love endureth patiently. Sorrows of their patience are roses in my coronet. I will have of them a shrine set with rubies red as wine, with a veil of sapphire set in a frame of moon and star. Smiling to the angels, saith Mary thus, so my desire whispered is to men, and I listen long for their reply, while in Irish hearts afire love feeds still the flame of faith. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
At Nazareth by Rosa Mulholland, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. O Mary, cease your weeping. Why ever weep and pray? I'll tell you a sweet story will make you laugh today. Yon children at their playing to one another said, There's a little crown of glory round little Jesus' head. Queen Mary ceased her weeping, and dropped her eyes from where a sombre cross was hanging adown the radiant air. 'Tis sweet that little story that you have kindly told. The world is full of sunshine, my son has hair of gold. Then she who was not Mary, she hugged her child with joy. Thank heaven that my own baby's like any mother's boy. Queen Mary ceased not praying, but checked her falling tears. She saw her King come leaping with laughter for her fears. O boy, my tender baby, O babe, my God who art, speak comfort to thy mother, thy sword turns in her heart. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Prayer of Mary Queen by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by BettyB. The Prayer of Mary Queen. I travelled on a windy cloud that sailed the midnight sky, and saw, wrapped in a sable shroud, this world go wheeling by. Upon a circling wind I spun, the moon and stars between. Uprose from out a hidden sun the holy Mary Queen. A golden flame her long hair was, her eyes were wet with rain. As sweet a face no lady has, 2 cherubs were of her train. Her gown was made of every flower, her girdle gold and twist. Her veil was all a rainbow shower, her feet were silver mist. She stood upon the world's dark rim, her lifted hands implored. Along with her sweet whisper, Him, the universe's Lord. Most piercing sweet the voice, O mine own son of mortal born. The robes are still incarnadine, on Calvary were worn. Is earth grown barren to thy spade? Yet grew it the rude tree. Of its sharp thorns thy crown was made, it gave a grave to thee. Its daughter thou wert wont to call thy mother. O be then still patient with her kindred all, the wayward sons of men. Thy purple robe is spread with stars, thy head is crowned with suns. The wheels of thy life-laden cars turn while thine ordinance runs. A many gold ships navigate the seas of boundless space, and carry their immortal freight to port of thy loved face. Their children follow their son, thee, to days without the night. Their souls sail for eternity, and fearless run the light. Yet hast thou, mother of their kin, my babe upon my knee, I link thee to a world of sin, thou wilt not unmake me. My race shall yet put on the sun, and darkness rule no more. Now finish what thou hast begun, the law of light restore. O child, who from my humble knee unto the temple strayed, thou camest quickly home with me, because I wept and prayed. O meek and gracious son of mine, at Cana in Galilee, thou gavest them the needful wine for but a word from me. O heaven's uncomprehended Lord, thy mother still am I. Now hearken, hearken to my word, let not the sinner die. And bid the rebel orb go by, sweet Son, Creator dread. Be mercy only, Savior die, again to raise these dead. The sun uprose, the heavens were rent, and took her from my sight. Rose red grew the wide firmament, and morn was glad with light. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Laugh and Pray by Rosa Mulholland, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. There's little joy in living, do you say? Then we are happy who can say them nay. We've lived enough of joy this summer day for many a lifetime. Let us laugh and pray. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Weather by Rosa Mulholland, read for LibriVox.org by Jason in Panama. Weather, weather, what care we, weather, whether you are in your cruel mood? We're together, so let be. Rain or sunshine, all is good. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. May in the Morning by Rosa Mulholland, read for LibriVox.org by Jason in Panama. May in the morning, flushed with rosy gold, young radiant day with all your tale untold. Oh, stay upon the mountain, go not down to noon or eve, sigh not to be full grown, but keep your virgin eyes and only be perpetual morning in eternity. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Invitation by Rosa Mulholland, read for LibriVox.org by Giordano, Newport Richey, Florida. Come into the house, sweetheart, built for me and thee, with a lover's mystic art. Dwell in it with me. We've a rainbow for a roof, windows framed in gold, curtains of a silver woof, with red roses in their fold. glimmering on walls that are old as the morning star. See the flooring for thy feet lilies overstrew, and thy couch of meadows sweet, fragrant is with dew. There's a water mirror smooth for thy rose face to look in. There's a thrush's song to soothe, a moon wheel thy dreams to spin. Here's thy gown of saffron silk, and thy kirtle white as milk. I've dew diamonds for thy hair, ring to fit thy hand. We will travel with bare feet through the fairy land, with the rain upon our brows and the sunshine in our eyes. We will live within the house God has builded for the wise, giving endless length of lease in eternal peace. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. What He Sings by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Greg Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida. Words set to the blackbird's lilt, liquid gold on roses spilt. Love, my love, love me, love, for I love thee. Sweet's the day, as sweet the night, love is all a wild delight. Love, my love, love me, love, for I love thee. Birds are scarcely safe a nest, ere the rose lights in the east. Love, my love, love me, love, for I love thee. Now the yellow cowslip's born, now the flower is on the thorn. Love, my love, love me, love, for I love thee. Gold is wove across the green, sallows wear a silvery sheen. Love, my love, love me, love, for I love thee. See the flirting daffodil shakes her golden kirtle still. Love, my love, love me, love, for I love thee. Two go laughing hand in hand, children in a fairy land. Love, my love, love me, love, for I love thee. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Morning by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Jason in Panama. A thrush is asleep in the passion flower, a blackbird dreams in the rose's bower. Short sleep and a note at dawn, wake, little birds, the dark is flown. Another sleep and then a trill, little birds, the sun is above the hill. World's light and a shower of gold for meadows abroad beneath the wold. Fields aflower and a trickle of gems in the running stream, and dew diadems for weeds that have won the beauty prize, worth that's worthless to common eyes. Joy for man and the heart of a child, for some grown old, and a rapture wild, for the child with wings that have swept the skies, who may haply remember Paradise. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Rose-Tide by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Rose-Tide. Summer, matron beautiful, with a laughing babe on either arm, and troop of rosy youngsters following, adventurous on thy steps in sweet alarm, with chubby hands that cling each unto each, or sudden timorous pull thy saffron robe that sweeps the verdurous lawn. Mother of roses, queen of golden dawn, goddess of laughter, worshipping we greet thee and thy brood. Be hastened thy white feet. Knowest thou, beloved, how withered and how grey the green earth grows when thou art absent long? Or how the day wearies of life and fails too soon away? In all the woods there is not heard a song. These deeply curtaining boughs of velvet green, that drop from azure heaven to flowery sward, not then are seen, but all the skies are barred by rigid forms that yearn for thy return, by weeping clouds that thine aloofness mourn. Oh, coming from the seaward with blue eyes in sunshine drowned, and music in thy mouth, and threaded hair on which the daylight lies as gold to gold. Incarnate soul of youth, matured in beauty, tender ardent face where all things fair and ripe and sweet, flower and fruit in perfect grace of colour and of splendour meet. O voice of nightingale, O song of thrush, ceasing with the woodland's murmurous hush! Dear fellow traveller of the royal sun, O let him go alone, stay thou with us, undo not what thou hast so goodly done. Thou wilt not ruin thus our gardens and our choirs, enwrought by thy desires. See how the gold rose hangs upon its green. Thou, fair, the rose's queen, bid it stay so forever. Canst thou take thy mild breath from our airs, and let the blast of winter lay our hearts and meadows waste, hushing thy song to hear his discord wake? Sweet, do not leave us soon. To thee we bring our weary and our sick, that thou mayst lay thy healing touch upon them, strengthening our failing hope, and sunning all away the ice dews of our dread. O let thy rose bloom on the wasted cheek, thy verdure close, untenanted, the grave that winter hath already dug beyond the golden corn, that skirts the track of that funereal path will take thee from us on one weeping morn. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sun-Glamour by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Jason in Panama. Sun-Glamour. My bonny rose tree, you are more dear to me than diamonds in a string, or rubies in a ring. From the seas far away, through the greens of the May, at his bidding have I come unto my lover's home. To the dear eyes of love, to the cuckoo of the dove, to the lark in the blue, at the word of my lover true. Now's the harvest of the rose, when the sweet south wind blows, and sun-glamour lights the land, as we two go hand in hand. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Night by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Jason in Panama. Night. The old brown clock that purrs to us by night and day, and treacherously whispers thus our lives away, its heart beats throbbing through the light of morning's bliss, will promise all the livelong night a day like this. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Hours by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida. Sweet as hours were Eden bowers, swaying grasses, floating flowers, all blown one lovely way, when the soft south wind's at play. Under our hedge of rose, where the hill water flows, a little mother water hen, surrounded by her brood of 10, flutters in the shadow, there, by the open meadow. Sweet's our forest walk, green and dusk for lingering talk, cool as the sea nymph's grot, when the sun is high and hot. We have sunflowers in a row, out where the west's aglow, We have hollyhocks and lilies, hyacinths and daffodillies, pansy pea and rose enchanting, in our pleasaunce flaunting. Bees go haunting there, and overhead the lavender, white butterflies are in the air. Sundial beside the rose marks how swift the glad day goes, finger long and black, following grimly on time's track. Peacock stiff with pride, jeweled like an Eastern bride, glance of insolence, seeking for offense, ebon-crested head, tail of splendor spread, hoary orchard trees, with boughs like wreathed lattices, little lamps of red and yellow, where the fruit is mellow. Yonder's a bushy grove, alive with songs of love, as all the songbirds of the air did celebrate their bridals there. Blackbird and wood guest, each lord of his own nest, bullfinch, tit, and thrush, had home in thorn and ivy bush. Forth from every throat a song, when the daylight waxeth long. For now the rain falls over, every bird within the cover, poet is as well as lover. Fairies trip and pass across the lush empurpled grass, where the shade is deep and wide, they dart about and hide under the canopies of the limes and chestnut trees. When the summer's gone, ice on field and lawn, skies may gloom and glower, still are joys in flower. When the clouds have found us, golden walls are round us, where the sun doth enter, there with us to winter. No one knoweth where he goeth, when the storm wind bloweth, and the stream no longer floweth, only we who live always in his fostering rays. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Home by Rosa Mulholland, read for LibriVox.org by Eva Davis. His happy house was built for our content, and planted in its green environment long years ere we in living flesh abode, and living souls were bid to live for God. Its eager door stands open on the breeze, admitting homage from the bowing trees, saluting crowds of flitting shades that go through quiet halls and chambers to and fro, like tender, mindful ghosts of some who were happy and blithesome in an old time here. Within these old thick walls, still aureoled by orchard blossoms and the spring's young gold, on ancient woods, a mighty darkling host, in wild sun-glamour, all astray and lost. House ever in a reverie of joy mysterious, out of thee heaven hath inhabitants. If dost hear the echo of their bliss, who are so near, though all apart, we may not wonder thou dost ponder listening, wrapped in silence now, and spread thy roof like brooding wings of dove, as shelter still for happy hearts that love and call thee home, next door to happier heaven. Out yonder where the sunset clouds are riven, we see the track, yet shrink our earthbound feet. In thee life throbs, so all-sufficient sweet. Each of thy storied chambers hath its dreams, the glorious aftermath of lives well lived, fields ripely sown, with flowers amid the grass long mown. The sweet of them is in the air, like kindred sweets that up the stair blow on the warm west wind of May, out of the meadow's heart, and stay about their nooks and passages, as glad to linger where love is. Up in our garden chamber, high mid chestnut boughs in orient sky, the long wide windows see the dawn, rose gold when dark veils are withdrawn, and green earth lying fair beneath throws upward many a purple wreath. There pipes the blackbird's magic flute, the thrush tunes up his tender lute. Here thrill 100 viol strings, while feathered minstrels clap their wings. Who sleeps within this chamber hears such music with awaking ears. Across the meadow a sun gleam shines all along the running stream. The hemlock, caught in a sun mist, gleams by the hedgerows water-kissed. The ragweed in her golden crown, a beggar queen, stares the mild daisy down. The grass is glad as any living thing, each tiny blade a quivering wing. A bit of broken woodland owns 'tis dark, even in morn glory, and a lark with ringing rapturous note, continuous, shares from the sun his exuberant joy with us. And here's a little nested room, warm lined, like home of birds, mid bushes, where the wind, roar as he will, can only rock our sleep, while musically the rains weep. Here purrs and flame the odorous bough, shed by great trees that rock and sough, and moan of turbulent spirits hurled into their arms from this our world, to do a penal term for deeds that sown for flowers proved loathsome weeds. Just at the window, low beneath the eaves, a starling nests behind bay leaves within the roof, and with her noisy brood bides fearless of our human neighbourhood. This orchard, half a rood of bloom, pushing a meadow to get room for apple trees long past their prime, and pear trees bent with fruit and thyme, was once a garden redolent of rose and lily and of violets, empurpled by the April rain that wets the hyacinth, and crowned with living gold of sunflowers burnishing the distant wold. And hollyhocks, upon whose glancing spears shone rubies caught from suns of passing years, thick set upon their slender flanks, mid amber bosses, far out where their ranks and file of splendour reared each one his crest, to guard a dream world in the kindling west. All gone, yet mid the long lush grasses still, unbidden springs the joyous daffodil, and still the aerial blue anemone, the darling windflower, lives and laughs with glee. The hyacinths, an ever hardy race, borne by the winging birds from place to place, flit ever making colonies 'neath canopies of the great old world trees. The hemlock now imperially doth hold the ground they drove him from of old, and lifts his head all o'ersown with white, and spreads his giant leaves, as with the right to crush usurpers, even the reckless foe who robbed him many and many a year ago. He has survived 1,000 follies sweet, of scent and colour, weakness doomed to meet death from deep-rooted power. Yet see, under the hedge and apple tree, the lowly things that have defied, in their humility, his pride. The primrose and the simple cowslip bell, the crocus and the little dear speedwell. Now, in deep summer, friends will come and go, within cool rooms where the tall lime trees throw a radiant green shade on glamorous days, when burns the sun on open lattices. O rare gold house, our lives are folded in between thy sheltering arms, and but begin to know all joy, Smile on and keep us warm, wrapped in thy heart and safe from all alarm. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
O May in the Morning by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Greg Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida. O May in the morning, and oh, but the world was sweet. There came without word of warning one, pale, with winged feet. O May of the thrushes, O May of the blackbird's bliss. The water sang in the rushes, my love gave me a kiss. O May in the morning, my lover, away, away, stole without word of warning. Black is the winter day. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Death and the Soul by Rosa Mulholland, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Impatient Soul. Door of death, open, open unto me, and let me in. Door narrow and thin and adamantine strong, beyond thee God is, and the Spirit's love kiss. I long, long, long to break with violence through thee. Death. O rude and noisy soul, thy clamour cease, for I will ope only to patient hope, and in her company through me thou'lt surely pass, as the sun's rays through glass. Meanwhile God holds the key, and I am shut up his fields of peace. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Year's Round by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Greg Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida. Another round is done, another year is run, since thou from me didst turn thy face away, to travel where there is nor year nor day. And yet I reckon here another year. Winter's cold, and the summer's blossoming, autumn's flush, and the wild sweet of the spring. O sun's gold wheel, are you not tired of turning? O stars of steel, give over your cold burning. Flowers shrivel and fade, a grave is made. Sick earth, will you not wither up and die, since in your bosom cold my love doth lie? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Question by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Greg Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida. And is your new-found knowledge then so sweet, death's mystery, that your love now understands? Where travel you, O unreturning feet? What clasp you now, O tender, seeking hands? Your eyes no longer see my light of day. What sun irradiates you and leaves me blind? What blithe companions make your spirit gay? What happy weaklings know you strong and kind? One sits alone within a darkened home, and counts the hours since laughing forth you went, with promise of return. You will not come, so long away, and are you then content? The hearth is swept, and purrs the happy flame. A chair beside your waiting chair is set. Now rings the joyful hour when still you came, feet past the door, your chair is empty yet. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Silence by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Greg Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida. Thou mystery of silence, bearing still a seal upon thy lips and in thy hand, grasping the folds that veil thine unseen face, sister of death in virgin drapery, white as the summer moonbeams, with round arm, and gracious breast, and foot that might beat time, to music yet doth neither rise nor fall. Wake from thy trance, unveil, and answer me. Oh, deaf and cruel shall my passion strike concealment from thy marble front, or shall rather my patience kneel and humbly kiss the hem of thy closed shroud? In trust it hides from this sad soul a joy unspeakable, that, when the mystic hour at last may ring, will sunlike rend the cloud twixt thee and me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Watchtower by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by BettyB. The Watchtower. To worship the flame of the fire our hearts have lit, with the purest of souls' desire, we two sit. Above, o'er the high watchtowers, the suns are alight, and, circling through hours on hours, they travel the night. Oh, chill are the stars up there, on a distant trend, and little our love knows where their travels tend. If spirits can live in their shine, we may not see, but our cinder, that's yours and mine, to you and me, is the seed of fire to sow in the years of ours, for the grass that's yet to grow, for the birth of flowers. And while spirit to spirit clings, as lips to lips, what reck we of far-off things in light or eclipse? A hand in a hand held fast, cheek pressed to cheek, what matters an age going past, days or a week? While the little rapturous flame that burns for us, though fitful and never the same, continuous, is enough of the mystery of the heat of life for lovers like you and me, husband and wife. But, dear, when the sweet earth fire evanisheth, and froze is our heart's desire by blast of death, shall one on the far watch-tower, alone on the height, seek flame in a blackened hour of a bitter night? And ask of the God who winds his suns in a ring, who maketh his fires in kinds, unperishing, a torch in the darkened years to search for love, through the realm where the circling spheres burn on above? O love, the flame of our fire that burns so sweet, the flame of our heart's desire, a light at our feet, the sacred flame of our hearth, today's but an old, common trick of the earth to keep out the cold, a blaze lit up in a camp on a battle morn, while soldiers shout and tramp at blast of a horn. By what hearth do you sit, of the fires on high? I'm coming, my love, to it. Time, fly, fly. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Preference by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Preference. I am not lonely, for I feel you near, although your place is vacant to my eyes, and evermore I know the sad surprise of shrouded rooms, and no voice in my ear. I am not all forlorn, nor do I fear long wakeful nights and joyless morning skies, and lengthening eves when daylight slowly dies along the sun-tide of the perfect year. For you are always close to me in faith, and rather would I follow you through death into your strange unknown eternal place, where I again might see you face to face, than live forgetting you, by you forgot, possessed of new-born joys that know you not. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Pain by Rosa MULHOLLAND. Read for LibriVox.org by Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida. My lovely lady, whose sad name is Pain, all lonely liveth in her mystic bower, beyond the sun, above the wind and rain. Her garden fenced is with white thorn flower. Beneath the thorny white flower laden boughs, she sitteth all day long in gathered shade. Within the circle of her narrow house, her pallid face a moon-like light hath made. Her dusky hair is wove with bud and spine, her spirit eyes are dark with mystery. Her lips that show no rose incarnadine are dumb as sculptured lips of martyrs be. Her brow is white with dreams, and her pale hands pray ever palm to palm, and scarcely stir. Against her quiet breast an angel stands, with eyes of love, and mutely watches her. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Wings by Rosa MULHOLLAND. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Wings. Unto your angel, when the dawn was red, I spoke. Oh, let me soar to him this day. Lend me thy wings, that I may flee away and see him where he bideth now, I said. About the morn like store of roses shed I saw earth glories, yet toward the ray of highest heaven my track of travel lay, where bliss holds you, from me uncomforted. There bode I near you, colouring with love's breath the suns that shine on you, and whispering sweet words we used to say, till day was gone. O knew you of my tears, and the downward wing that went from you? Now, angel, take your own, I cried, and wingless stood, and wept for death. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Vision by Rosa MULHOLLAND. Read for LibriVox.org by Nemo. Under my load of grief at length I slept, and saw you standing in our chamber gay, and tall and strong, even like as yesterday. You smiled on me who had so moaned and wept, while in a maze of fear toward you I stepped, in dread to touch a cloud that would not stay, for I'd seen you dead and borne away. So fearing dream and waking nearer crept, and found you warm to touch. Then to your side I clung in rapture. Death is dead, I cried. There is no death. I held your woolen gown, the dear familiar vesture, drew yours down to my own face, and felt your strong heart beat. I hold you, love, and death's a lie, a cheat. You gave me tender looks and kisses. Still you drew me to your breast and sat with me. So face to face and breast to breast were we. O love, I cried, go not again. I will be with you when you go, for good or ill. Not so, you said. Then I, Is it to be that no more joy for all eternity we taste as one who did all love fulfill? Not so, again you said, but you must wend obedient and apart till God shall send. Then loosened you your hold. I felt you draw your gown from my close grip. No more I saw but felt you go. Yet am I comforted, who know you live, although I saw you dead. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Closed Door by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by BettyB. The Closed Door. The door of heaven has closed on thee. I stand this side of eternity. The rainy wind and the bitter skies, still mine, and life with its mysteries. The world's tears in the drift on the pane, the soul's cry in the blast with the rain. The light to hate and the dark to shun, and joy to remember with the sun. But thou, away on a flowery sod, walking with saints in the garden of God, be full thy joy and no more alone. I'll live with it till it grows my own. If thou wert back in the world again, the wind might blow and the rain might rain. The old sweet heaven of thee and me would be heaven enough for me and thee. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Dread by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Dread. The world's afire, and none to save. Wind howl and rain rave. The world is all a wandering grave. The earth is but a blackened stone, whirling round a greater one, frozen sun, whose light is done. Shepherd, what use in your crook? Scientist, for your outlook? Poet, who's to read your book? All the jewels of the East, gold and silver of the West, buried are in ruin's breast. Wheel of terror, dreadful ball, black with death, containing all bodies built since Adam's fall. Now are all the souls were born to your years of night and morn, gathered by an angel's horn. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Silver Horn by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by BettyB. The Silver Horn. When I awoke from dreams this morn, methought I heard a silver horn shrilling towards me from afar, as if from some faint setting star. Oh, I said, the stars are falling, or some spirit calling, calling, summons me o'er hill and hollow. I will rise and I will follow. I have climbed the hills all day, fallen and fainted on the way, met no spirit. Will that horn sound for me another morn? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Ark, translated from the Latin, by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida. O tender heart, strong ark which doth enshrine the whole sweet law that rules the heart of man, no longer held as slaves beneath a ban, grateful and free we live by love divine. O heart, O sanctuary undefiled of that new law of love unto us given, a veil more precious than of old was riven, a temple holier than the ancients piled. What living heart is there that will not come at his redeeming call, that doth not sigh to give him love for love, and will not fly unto his heart, our everlasting home? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Evening by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Evening. In sober ending of a glamorous day, the shadows lengthen, wistful grows the light. The herds are far off, and the vale is lone. The mountain mourns upon its purple throne, accepting darkness and resigned to night. The sea is hiding in its veils of grey. All is consummated. A god is slain beneath the welkin, and is no more sun. Earth is empalled. Great Nature's head is bowed under the burden of a loathsome shroud. Light is extinct. The course of life is run. Day lies in death, and may not rise again. But even now upon the pall is wore a jewel, signalling to soulful seers. In characters of light is writ that he, the sun god, is alive in mystery, life-giving of his love in other spheres. There will be morning more, and more, and more. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Forsaken Mother by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida. Ireland's Lament. My dewy fields are sad and lone, the mountain tops a frowning stone. The rain rains tears, the sea is grey, for little children gone away. Oh, where's through that I could see the little faces round my knee, that I could hear the running feet that ran between my hedges sweet. I'll see no more your big blue eyes, no more I'll hear your shouts and cries. You grow and turn to heartless men, unlike the men that stepped the glen. You're cradled in the stranger's land, the stranger takes your wedded hand. Your little children are not mine, by hill and glen I weep and pine. O sons of mine that leave me lone, your ears will ever hear my moan. On alien hills, by alien streams, your mother's face will haunt your dreams. I see the ruddy lights no more, that shone from window and from door. No more the house dog's friendly bark rings cheery in the winter's dark. When night is on my pastures green, I miss my music sweet and keen, the piping herd that whistled shrill, while sat the moon twixt wood and hill. My sons, will you come back again, my children grown to sturdy men? Come back from east and west, and make your homes upon my breast. Your mother's ear is listening still, to hear across the purple hill. Your feet come tramping from the sea, across the fields and glens to me. Your joyful shouts upon the wind, your loving words and laughter kind, in voices of the midnight streams, I hear them only in my dreams. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Ireland Revisited by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Ireland Revisited. You're going home, Alanna, to the home you never seen, the home that you weren't born in, though sure you ought to been. The land that she was born in, that's now your old grandmother, the sweetest land in under heaven, I don't care where's the other. The girl she was had hair like gold, and a curl in it, and her eyes, they had the sort of colour that's like bits of Irish skies. You're laughing at me, honey, But I'm grown so old, ye see, I might be let to talk about the girl that once was me. 'Twas she that was the Colin lass, the day that Seamus said a few words she was glad to hear, and still a bit afraid. Herself was milkin' in the field, the lark was in the blue. He came and took the pail, says he, "It's heavy, dear, for you." You'll go and see the house astore, you'll know it by the thatch, in under the white elder flowers, the door is on the latch. The swallows do be very fond of making the nests there. Inside, just by the fire, you'll see your grandfather's straw chair. He'll go to see the neighbour's child, they're changed a bit, they say, and hair that was as bright as mine is maybe turned to grey. But Gershas will be grown like you, and take you by the hand, for they'll be glad to see you comin' back to the old land. You'll go into the chapel, and you'll tell me if you find the 3 old trees fawnin' it that stood shaking in the wind, and nodding at the chapel porch as if they wanted in. Och, if it was myself was you, but envy is a sin. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Lay of the Famine by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. A Lay of the Famine. Oh, hear you how the night wind sighs around the craggy reek. Its voice keens high above the wave that thunders in the creek. Aroon, aroon, arouse you, and high across the moor, 10 miles away there's bread, they say, to feed the starving poor. God save you, Eileen born Astor, and guide your naked feet, and keep the failing life in us till you come back with meat. She kissed her father's palsied hand, her mother's wasting cheek, and whirled out on the driving storm beyond the craggy reek. But God is kinder on the bog than man is in the town, and Eileen quails before the stranger's harsh rebuke and frown. No bread is in her wallet stored, but on the lonesome heath she lifts her empty hands to heaven and prays for speedy death. O Ululu, what sight is this? What forms come by the reek, as thin and white as is the mist upon the mountain's peak? Like mist they glide across the bog, a pale and ghastly band. The foremost crosses Eileen's path and grips her by the hand. Dear daughter, we have suffered sore, but we are safe at last, for God has taken us to him, and bids yourself make haste. So hurry to our cabin lone, and dig a grave full deep, and underneath the white bog flower our bodies lay to sleep. Lest winter winds should wreck the walls, and throw them on our bones, and stranger birds should tear our flesh from out the tumbled stones. Astorine, don't be slow or long, so you may quickly come and share the sweetness of our rest in God's eternal home. Now when the sun went in the sea, and rain winds 'gan to weep, fared Eileen to the cabin lone, and dug a grave full deep. And when the moon was high in heaven above the thundering wave, outstretched her slender body lay upon that new made grave. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Factory Girl by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida. Chose it instead of America. You see, it was near der home. Plenty of work in the north, they said, and so I ris and come. 9 of us on the bit o' land, and failed it at last vid the rint. No price to be got for the cow at all, and the landlord, his heart as flint. Rest of them went to the huts. I thought I'd be able to arm something to help them along, workin' up here at the yarn. But wid the sickness and fines, and the wages so tarrible small, I'd niver a ha'penny to send, I was no help to them at all. Finds all that I wove, my loom was bad and it run wrong wid the web, and the weavin' 'twas ruined afore it was done. Finds for a mouthful of water, when your heart was just ready to burst, wid the roastin' heat of the place, and the ragin' fire o' your thirst. Oftener sick nor well, even at the best o' your prime, for ye see you're drippin' wet at your work the whole o' the time. Only a shift and a petticoat on ye, not enough o' clothes to cover a dacent girl, and keep her modest, God knows. And thin, when the bell is rung, and ye run out into the street, it's the sharp east wind on the frost that your bones have got to meet. And your bit of a shawl is not much use to keep out the stabs o' the cold. It's that way when you're young, but you never live to be old. A quare place to be sick in, aye, deed, so ye may say. 4 of us lies in the bed at night, I have it myself all day. Will ye write to my mother and tell her my heart is sore, that I hadn't a penny to send her, my love, and nothin' more. For when I'd armed a shillin' and 3p, the 3p was all I'd to get. The shillin' went for the fine on the crooked loom that set, aye, everything wrong as it went. What mather, 'twas me had to pay. I'd better starved where I was in the fields, 'twixt the bog and the say. Slime and dirt where ye stand at your work, and the smells derive you mad. You're told to go to hell if you cry, but hell can't be half as bad. I know I'm goin' somewhere, doctor, I see it like print in your face, but I hope it won't be there. Thank God, there's another place. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Glenmalure by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Glenmalure. A world song in the running water, red am I with the red of slaughter. When storm and torrent sweep the glen, I mourn the fate of gallant men. I wash their graves and keep them green, pranked with flowers of golden sheen. I chant their praise when summer's kind, I keen for them on the winter wind. I run, I rush to the cleansing sea, and wash me clean in the wave of the free. Yet still am I red with the red of blood, in valley shadow, in mountain flood. Michael Dwyer still sits in his chair on the red rock up on the mountain there, and the roofless barrack with eyes of bale stares at him from the heart of the vale. It threats me as I hurry along for the mindfulness of my ceaseless song, but I will sing when stone on stone the baleful walls to dust are gone. Will sing of the patriot hearts that bled, slaughtered to dye my waters red, will sing and sing to the souls of men my world song from an Irish glen. Men of today, ye are cold and tame, care not for praise, care not for blame. Ye count your sheep in the mountain cave, and feed your kine on the hero's grave. No more to your crags the eagle clings, on Lugnacullia he spreads his wings. The rabbit thrives, and the wily fox lives at ease in his hole in the rocks. Some of your old men grieve as I, talk of the brave awhile, and die. The young are fleeing to happier lands, where's room for souls, and where's work for hands. Only the river, that knows no death and will sing forever, only the ever running water, running red with the red of slaughter. Here's the battle cry of the brave, ringing from the patriot's grave, and winds it into a water song, the song of all days that will live world long. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Maury's Vision by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Maury's Vision. Wisht, honey, I'll tell you the story. It chanced in the summer one night, when the bog, that does still be so black, was all over a dazzle of white, with the foam blowing in from the sea, and the clouds streeling down from the skies, and the moon looking on, like myself, the poor soul, with the tears in her eyes. That I cried as I wint, with the dinder the ache was in all of my bones, on account of the heavy day's work picking up the loose stones, and I earning a bit for the childer, till in on the floor of the cabin I stumbled at last, and I barred up the door. I was saying a prayer at the old broken chair with my knees on the clay, and Auni, my eldest, was answering him that wint over the say. When I looked at the door I was sure I had barred with the two of my hands, and I seen it was standing wide open, and laid my commands on Auni to get up at once, and to shut out the dreep of the mist. And he upped and he wint to the door, and he hammered it shut with his fist. And on wint the two of us then with the prayers, and myself half asleep, with my face in my hands on the chair, and the heart in me bursting to weep. I looked up again as I said the Amen, and I seen that the door was standing wide back from the moon and the light on the floor, and I let out a curse, God forgive me, on top of my prayer. I was meaning no harm, but it riz of itself from my heart of despair. Bad luck to you, Oni, says I. Have you no hands at all, that ye stand up to fasten the door, and ye lave it there back to the wall? And the boy got lamentin', and said he had done it, and then between tremblin' and crying he upped and he done it again. The sobbin' got into his throat, and he crept into bed, and I drove home the bar with a blow, and lay down by his head. But before I right settled to sleep, I just took a back glance at the door. It was open as wide as my eyes, and the light streaming in on the floor. I jumped out of bed with a groan, for I seen with my sight that someone was there on the threshold, and darkened the white of the mist and the moon, and I knew by the set of the head, and the square of the shoulders, 'twas one was come back from the dead. 'Twas Eamon, my husband, himself with a child on each arm, and he holding the pair to his breast, as if keeping them warm. 'Twas the two that was laid by his side in the grave at the kill, the day my heart broke, when I left them there sleeping their fill. I stood and I looked at the three, and the sweat on my face teemed down with the fear at the thought of a ghost in the place, till my starin' got hold of his looks, and I seen that, ochone, as kind like as ever his two eyes were stuck in my own. I gather up courage and spoke, and, "Oh, Eamon," I says, "will you come to the fire and sit down, and I'll rake up a blaze? For it's cold and it's pale that you're lookin', yourself and the two that I never again thought to see in this world, were us through. Will you give me the sweet little Gersha here into my breast, till I comb out the gold of her hair, till I give her a taste of the milk that'll bring the red colour back into her cheeks, when she opens her eyes and finds out 'tis her mammy that speaks? Will you let me wake up little Dermot, and see the blue eyes that once were the light of our home? Oh, my husband!" I cries, for a kind of a madness had riz up and burned in my brain, and I thought they had come back to stay and were living again. Then Eamon spoke out, and his voice was as sad and as low as the wind from the sea when the waves do be coming in slow. "An' I cannot, my woman," he says, "for it's only we come on an errand from God, and it soon will be facin' back home. Oh, Maury," says he, "don't be cursin' the childer no more. See these little pair that God sent you to look at astore. 'Twas their prayers and their love that led me into heaven and to him, and the soul of a child is more precious than life or than limb. Don't poison their innocence, Maury. The three that you have will beest for some day from your hands, for it's not to the grave ye are goin'," says Eamon, says he, "with your smile or your frown. When there's one that is coaxin' them up, don't be driving them down. Oh, never again will I do it, says I when the moan in my throat let the word to my tongue. But oh, Eamon, my own, will you give me the childer a minute and kiss me, says I. 'Tis yourself niver needed the askin' in them days gone by. Then Eamon came near me and drooped the young childer to rest, for a couple of seconds or so on the broad o' my breast, and he leaned a bit nearther and put his 2 lips to my own, and he kissed me the way that he used to, my husband, ochone. The cold of him went through my soul, oh the sting of the cold of the face of himself against mine, oh the chill of the mould on the cheeks of my babies, it froze and it killed me outright, and I fell on my face in a heap, and I lay there all night. All agone I'd more living to do, for I came back again. With the light of the dawn in the skies I woke up to my pain, and I heard like a twitter of birds and a whispering sigh, 'twas himself and the childer that waited all night for to say their goodbye. A dream, did ye say? Look at here. Did ye ever behold the purplety blue of a body that's frozen to death with the cold? It's the blue of my lips since the night when my dead husband kissed my mouth at the door, straining out through the moon and the mist. And savin' your presence, just here in the warm of my breast, where the 2 little weeshy ones cuddle like birds in a nest, is a couple of patchety scars like a burn leaves behind. They're as white as the bog flowers that blows in the breath of the wind. Och sure, but they left their own mark on me. There now, go on, and lave me with God and themselves that he sinned me, mavrone. The moon never shines through the mist with that growl from the sea, but I think they come back with himself's invitation for me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Maury Oge by Rosa MULHOLLAND. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Maury Oge. My name is little Maury Oge. I live at Gurton Clove. It's over there beyond the bog, just where the sea is rough. And that's our houseen in the cave, the rock is for our floor. In winter sure the thundering wave comes tumbling through the door. We've got a weeshy bit o' land between the bog and sea. It's that can grow the taties grand when storms let 'em be. I'm going on 16-year-old. It's me that ups at night, for when the moon is big and gold, the tide is at its height. I do go wadin' from the sands, the water's round my neck, and I be gropin' with my hands to haul in the sea wrack. Oh, musha, yes, I'm always drowned, but little matters so when wrack is spread out on the ground to make the taties grow. It's me that always does be sent goin' foreign every year, for still we have to pay the rint, and clay is awful dear. It's me that picks the hops that grows in land that's not like ours, where cruel storms never blows and rains is only showers. Then I do bind the farmer's sheaves and lie the summer's night in under hedges full of leaves till dawning of the light. Och, when I bring the money home, it's never half enough to pay the shop that must get some and rint of Gurton Clove. I wish the taties wouldn't fail, it's rain that brings the rot, for buying of the Indy mail, it's Wally's all we've got. Oh, whiles I climb the rock up there and look out on the sea, for there's a sailing ship somewhere will soon be gettin' me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Beggar Queen by Rosa MULHOLLAND. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Beggar Queen. Wanderer in the wet and cold, you shall walk in gems arrayed, you shall sit in cloth of gold, beggar maid, O beggar maid. You have lands and you have towers, churches wherein saints have prayed, you have gardens full of flowers, beggar maid, O beggar maid. Ships are sailing on your seas, cattle in your meadows tread, filled are all your granaries, beggar maid, O beggar maid. You have subjects leal and strong, waging battle unafraid for the queen they praise in song, beggar maid, O beggar maid. Wear the robes that fit a queen, wear a crown upon your head, rule within your valleys green, beggar maid, O beggar maid. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Christmas Candle by Rosa Mulholland, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. I set the taper in the pane, the Christmas taper got with care, in Advent days by stinted fare, and bade it burn, not ever wane, from morn to night, from night to morn, until the Christ child should be born. So tall it stood, its slender white encrusted o'er with red and gold and purple, like the kings of old. A crown it wore, its crown of light. Now little flames shine down the street and show the way to travelling feet. I opened wide the cabin door. The frosty air came rushing in. The stars aloft shone faint and thin. I knelt upon the earthen floor, and kneeling so, alone was I. The rest are in eternity. A father, mother, one small maid, and two fair lads. A crowd were around the Christmas taper there, beside the kill I the four had laid. O Christmas taper, shed thy light, there's one who will come for me tonight. But oh, the world was dark and cold, but lighted my taper's flame, when down the street the Christ child came, an ice wreath in his hair of gold, and opened his young arms to me. Now come to where they bide, saith he. Good neighbours, is it Christmas night? Ah, yes, I see my taper's flame, still burning as when in he came, impelled by its imploring light, came in and stood within the door, and said, O mother, weep no more. Then I fell fast asleep, and so you found me. Now I go to them, as bid by him of Bethlehem. Ere my sweet taper wanes I go, for he, the Christ child, bids me come where they wait for me in his home. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
St. Kevin and the Lark by Rosa Mulholland, read for LibriVox.org by BettyB. St. Kevin and the Lark. St. Kevin, who loved God and men and birds, and savage beasts, and gentle flocks and herds, walked solitary in the fields of morn, and praised the light as light were newly born. And, lifting up his hand to bless the sun for yet another day in God begun, he, praying, walked and walking, prayed and praised his God with still that blessing hand upraised. A lark aloft, his matin singing loud, dropped sudden from the heart of a gold cloud, and perched on Kevin's uplift hand, and sang until the woodlands rang and rang. A wondrous voice, uprising from the sod, to greet the sun and pierce the ear of God. How canst thou thus forsake the golden choir, to sing aloud for me, my heart's desire? Said Kevin, then the bird sang sweet and low, and told such secrets as the angels know, into the ear of Kevin until he forgot the world in heavenly ecstasy. So walked he days and nights across the land, with that sweet songster perched upon his hand, nor ever knew the time until the bird soared to the sun and in the cloud was heard. Still, when o'er Irish fields where saint and lark went praising God who scattereth the dark, at early morn a mystic song is heard, the children cry, St. Kevin and his bird. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Garalth Ferry by Rosa Mulholland, read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Garalth Ferry. The moon is wroth over Avon Dhu, Wild clouds before her face are flying, black shadows hang around Rincrew, the gannets from the sea are crying. And where the river flood runs through the wooded pass, with smothered sighing of pain and fear, what terrifying shout comes startling wood and water, with memories grim of fray and slaughter? Hallo there, to the wary, to the wary, Garalth Arointa, give the Garalth a ferry. He lies above the thundering wave, by sea or land, by ford or river, while sea mews perch above his grave. Great Garalth fares no more forever. The winds may lift a voice and rave, and cry aloud with sob and shiver, the name of one who answers never, startling the storm-tossed wood and water, with memories fierce of fray and slaughter. What ho there, to the wary, to the wary, Garalth Arointa, give brave Garalth a ferry. In Temple Michael's gruesome wood, and down the frighted rivers flowing, the traveller scanneth tree and flood, the cloud rack on the night wind blowing, over Rincrew, the point of blood, before the angry moon's face going, the stream that stumbles hasting, slowing, and hears that cry thrill wood and water, with echoings dread of fray and slaughter. Hallo there, to the wary, to the wary, Garalth Arointa, give the Garalth his ferry. But now the summer wind is still, the young moon dreams behind the beeches, the clouds lie soft on mead and hill, clear curve in light the river reaches. Yet from the deep wood rings a shrill and piercing summons that beseeches. Never so weird the night owl screeches, scaring the peace of wood and water, with ghostly dreams of strife and slaughter. Ho, ho, there, to the wary, to the wary, Garalth Arointa, give the Garalth a ferry. Here was the feast, and here the fray, red lights from every loophole burning, and ruddy fires that flamed alway hailed Garalth to his own returning. No need to send by night or day that angry call, that cry of warning, to rouse the kerns in bitter scorning of slothful sleep by wood and water, broken with threats of war and slaughter. What ho there, to the wary, to the wary, Garalth Arointa, give the Garalth a ferry. Now Temple Michael's lights are out, death black are stately shrine and castle, the grim woods darkle round about, the walls where kinsman, child and vassal fly that voice whose angry shout marreth the mirth of dance and wassail, and with the darkness seems to wrestle, frighting the soul by land and water, with dreadful dreams of strife and slaughter. Hallo there, to the wary, to the wary, Garalth Arointha, give the Garalth a ferry. The Garalth wife is on the shore, with pallid face and whitening tresses, that were as red as golden ore, and while her cold lip prays and blesses the soul of him in lone Ardmore, with tears and whispered tendernesses that speak a faithful heart's distresses, like moan that follows fray and slaughter, rises a wail over wood and water. For love's grace, to the wary, to the wary, Garalth Arointha, give the Garalth his ferry. O lift him from his narrow bed, out where the ocean waves are singing their dirges for great Garalth dead, and set St. Declan's bells a-ringing. Let holy prayers be sung and said, with flash of golden censer swinging, and hush that voice by wood and water, that cry that rings of fray and slaughter. What ho there, to the wary, to the wary, Garalth Arointha, give the Garalth his ferry. Carry him back to Avondhu, and make his bed by that sweet river, beneath the heights of bold Rincrew, where Temple Michael frowns forever. From the wild haunts of the sea mew, the sleeping saints will miss him never. May God his restless soul deliver, and hush that voice by wood and water, that cry that breathed of strife and slaughter. Ho, ho there, to the wary, Garalth rointer, give the Garalth his ferry. Now lay him on his floating bier, and bid the lovely river bear him. His kinsman's sword, his widow's tear, his children's simple prayers are near him. His startled foeman grasps the spear. Comes mighty Garalth back to scare him? Great Garalth, by the river faring again across the dark black water, was stained erewhile by blood and slaughter? But now that cry is hushed, put up the wary. He lies at rest, great Garalth crossed his ferry. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Lament of Fithir by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Lament of Fithir. I walked with my pain of heavy loss and cruel gain under the rain of the summer midnight glorious, and my bosom could not bear the pang of the sword thrust there, moaned out in despair with the moan of the great sea flood. I saw in the southern skies the sign of the cross arise, and bright on my wildered sight sudden shine out victorious. I heard all the flowers of the earth rejoicing in their birth, though they flourished and were nourished with the human heart's warm blood. Oh, the sweet and startled moon slid down the sky full soon, the strong stars quailed and failed in their high eternal places, and the heart of the bold sea wave its long death sigh outgave, as broken it found a grave and went headlong into the sand. Far distant beacons flamed, and the planets shamed flashed red and waned and hid like affrighted faces, and the dumb trees stood on the verge of the wood, drear with fear. Like ghouls or damned souls, stood up straight in their hate of the gloom of the darkened land. My feet passed on through the night, and the bright stirring and whirring of life with eyes of splendor, while darksome things with wings made music as of strings in the hearing of the purple air, and a spirit laden with all ills came down out of the misty hills with a legion of other spirits to attend her. Weeping they went in a ghostly trail, like a fleet of sail, swift and frail I saw them sink and fail, like wreaths of foam on the motionless ocean out there. My lips were dumb, but my soul cried, "Come, O death without breath, and with sweet closed eyes, sleep-waking, a star high set twixt thy quiet brows of jet, and a dove above the peace in thine ice-cold breast. I will give thee my hand in thy hand, I will rise and depart, I will go to thy land. To thy heart I will give my heart, with its tortured burning and aching. My feet to thy feet will I bind, that thou most kind will lead them and speed them, leaving no trace in this earthly place. Speed them away, I pray, ere another day, to the unknown world of our rest." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
All Souls' Night by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by BettyB. All Souls' Night. All Souls' Day we had Mass at morn. At crow of cock the dear Christ came down on the altar as newly born, to love us and take away our blame. Crowds of us gathered round him then, ate of his feast and went away, to think of the souls of long dead men, and pray for their rest the livelong day. What souls in heaven and what souls still outside wandering lonesomely on the black seashore or the bare black hill, or lashed by the wind on the old thorn tree. Sure, we who love them live as we please, the good and the bad of us walking the road, when the sun is shining or sitting at ease by the side of the fire, thanks be to God. Mary Maloney, your house is dark, only a little bit over the way, dead as a corpse and cold and stark. My house is as bright as day. I mind the night that your man was drowned, more than a couple of years ago. Never was buried in holy ground, no more of him did you ever know. My man and our children, 7, are gone from me these years on years, and every one of them safe in heaven. I have no fears, and I drop no tears. But still and all on this blessed night, when the suffering souls are free to come into the warmth and into the light, and sit with friends in our old loved home, I sweep my hearth and I sweep my floor, and I set a candle in every room, and a torch of bogdeal at the door, to shine far into the midnight gloom. Who knows what lonesome souls of men, with never a friend left now on earth, may draw to the light and venture then over the threshold and sit by the hearth? So Mary Maloney, shut up your door that shows no light, and come home with me, and maybe you'll see your man once more. Sure, if he's in prison tonight, he's free. Oh Lord, we watched on our knees and prayed, and Mary and me, we saw them come, wandering in as if half afraid, and glad to be welcome to someone's home. Mary Maloney, she saw her man. I saw not mine nor my children 7. I couldn't, because no spirit can come that night if he's safe in heaven. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. New Tipperary by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by BettyB. New Tipperary. Said the men of Tipperary, master of our sweat and soil, great from our persistent toil, rich in corn and wine and oil, of our strain and our turmoil, like a story that is told, you have got our yearly gold. Loosen now your savage hold of the starving young and old, said the men of Tipperary. Said the men of Tipperary, we've 1,000 friends and more, brothers who are very poor, down along Blackwater shore, with a tyrant at their door. Life for them is life and death. Give them light and give them breath. Put your sword up in its sheath, so this grave petition saith, said the men of Tipperary. Said the men of Tipperary, since you will not hear our prayer, we will take a brother's care of our brothers in despair. Of our own will give them share. Grant us of the overrent, we have paid you with content. Grant us 25%. 10 is for their nourishment. Said the man of Tipperary, said the man of Tipperary. You have turned a sullen ear, deaf as one who will not hear. Yet our meaning is full clear. Without favor, without fear, stand we up before your face, in the pride of our old race. Stand up in our ancient place, cry resistance or disgrace, said the men of Tipperary. Said the men of Tipperary, fill no more the tyrant's hand. He denies our just demand. We will give him back his land, leave the town our fathers planned. We will build us roof and room where the heather is in bloom. Gray old fathers, quit your home, little children, rise and come, said the men of Tipperary. Said the men of Tipperary, oh, it was a gallant sight, when the foremost in the fight walked out in the broad sunlight, shelterless against the night, left the long-loved happy hearth, left the house that saw their birth, wanders now upon the earth, said the men of Tipperary. Said the men of Tipperary, we will build us a new town, right beneath the landlord's frown. Let the old one tumble down, though the stones are all our own, let the rains of winter fall, o'er deserted roof and wall. Let the storm wind cry and call, in the homes of each and all, said the men of Tipperary. Said the men of Tipperary, yonder by thy open road, we will pitch our tents abroad. Let the master of the sod kneel and ask his gold from God, in the still deserted street, nevermore wherein may meet, clasping hands and hurrying feet, life and liberty are sweet, gallant men of Tipperary. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Warning by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. A Warning. Moya's blue-eyed boy with the yellow hair, him that the fairies took last year, I seen him today in the fair, follying round with one had a basket on her arm, same as a human woman, the Lord betune us and harm. Lookin' like you or me, and a smile in her eye, tastin' and pricin' the butter, like one that wanted to buy, and her casting at Nora Mulligan with her smile, the girl that's growing up so handsome, all the while. Let Nora's mother be watching her, or she'll go where Moya's Burchel went, to their sports below. It's the likes o' them that's wanted, young and gay, to keep them gentry company until the Judgment Day. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Midsummer Night by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida. It happened one midsummer night, and I gettin' home slow, a bit tired and lonesome, alone in the grey of the road to go. And I thinkin' I'd rather I hadn't much furder be myself all alone, just meself and the presence of God. Not the ghost of a moon, but a glory of stars in the sky, light enough to be seein' the dark by, and light sure to keep your feet out of holes, and with never a call or a sigh from man, beast, or wind, and the valley down there sound asleep, when a suddent right out of the breast of the mountain there comes a brattle o' music, the like of it never was heard, the silver of trumpets, the pipin' on gold, and the rollin' of drums, and singin' that wasn't the voices of woman or angel or bird. Just as suddent it stopped, with a snap and a crash and a blare, and right over my head came the rush of a million of wings, they drivin' the silence before them and beatin' the air, and hurtlin' and surgin' and circlin' in rings upon rings, and if mad to get into the breast of the mountain, and then, while I stared all around me and over my head and could spy not a thing but the stars, sure the music was at it again, and the rush of the wings betune me and the stars in the sky. And so for an hour, while I tried to be sayin' a prayer. Now I'll ask you to look at that mountain out there in the sun, and it's smilin' so innocent. What do you think went on there on that midsummer night when them gintry were havin' their fun? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Song by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida. Where has fickle joy outgone? Yonder lie her golden shoon. Here's the rose she lately wore. There's the lute she'll touch no more. Hist! She sends a messenger, with a playful word from her. Take my gentle substitute, wears my rose and wakes my lute. Grey of habit, grey of face, sweet content will hold my place. Though she wears no golden shoe, she'll go all the way with you. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Ring by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida. Mysterious circuit travelled by the sun, that is a ring, a circlet of pure gold, a belt that binds together new and old, a tale that's ever telling, never told, unending race that's always just begun. Love took the gold and hammered out the ring, burnished with joy, with sorrow welded strong. Out of the sweet enclosure banished wrong, and wound the whole into a tender song. For such as you and me, dear love, to sing, our little ring is symbol unto us of air and earth and water, all that He created, who gives living souls to be, undying like Himself, of death made free, in sun-like, ring-like, life continuous. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Knowledge by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by BettyB. Knowledge. We thought we knew the beauty of the world, the sky-blue noon, the splendors of sunset, the daffodils of dawn in light unfurled, June's tears of joy upon the rose-leaf wet, the secret of bird ecstasy in spring, white fire of stars, the moonlight's silver thrall, and many a sweet and lovely hidden thing. We separate, we thought we knew them all, but neither knew till we went hand in hand, great Mother Nature's heart, nor did we see the glory of her face, nor understand her voice that calls us towards eternity. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Faery Thrall by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Faery Thrall. Bridget Delaney, her that lives under the hill, there where the smoke's on the thatch, for no chimbley have they. Where does she go at the bidding of something or somebody's will, in the dead of the midnight or noon of the midsummer's day? Droppin' her needles and throwin' the stockin' down there on the chair, and away with her over the bog, and she gettin' thin and small, till the sketch of the shape of hers swallied at last in the air of the cloud and the mist, and the last of hers nothing at all. Sure weeks she does be gone, and nobody ever speaks as much as to say, "Where's Bridget?" For all of us know what happens when them ones start to be playin' their impident freaks somewhere above or below, and the creature she has to go. And when she comes back at last, and we see her then, no more nor the size of a sod of turf that's a mile away, and she comin' slow through the mist of the glen, like one in her sleep, och, nobody dares to say, "You're welcome, Bridget, and where were ye all this while?" For they know she couldn't tell, but "Give me my needles," says she, "and where's stockin'?" she says with the ghost of a smile, "that I have to finish, and give me a cup of your tea." "For I have not tasted tea since I seen yez all before," says Bridget Delaney, says she, "and my mouth is dry." And they give her the tea, but they dursn't ask her more. Sure she'll leave them again some day, and they don't know when or why. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Legend of Conemarra by Rosa Mulholland. Read for LibriVox.org by BettyB. The surf beats loudly on the shore, uneasy rolls the loosened shingle, and Mary bars the cottage door and stirs the red log in the ingle. She sets her wheel beside the blaze, her flitting hand to labor steadies. The dark wheel marks her ruddy haze, and whirls the light in sparkling eddies. Her face is full of changeful play, and sweet as are the summer meadows, when floating cloud and sunny ray bewilder them with lights and shadows. But now it blanches wildly pale, as wears her spirit dull and weary, The wind has taken a shriller wail. The cabin room is lone and eerie. Some creeping sound disturbs her ear. She jerks her wheel to stop its whirring, then tries to smile away her fear. 'Twas nothing but the peat fire stirring. Wide opes the door without a sound, and something dark and tall doth enter. She rises up and stares around. With courage terror's self hath lent her. A figure grows upon her sight, a silent gaze upon her bending, o'erpowering with its awful might of wordless anguish, tears transcending. The chill sea from its garment drips, the ocean spray his long hair whitens. With livid cheeks and frozen lips, he glimmers as the peat fire brightens. Oh, tell me, has your boat gone down? Oh, speak and come anear the ingle. Hoarse sounds her trembling accents drown, the thick surf beating on the shingle. Like distant murmurs faint and rare, like dreamy echoes low and broken, a voice comes stirring in the air, and words like these are sadly spoken. Gone are my dreams of wife and home, my phantom boat is waiting yonder, like lonely seagull in the foam, henceforth upon the waves I wander. My sin is this, I tempted God, in eager youth I grew defiant, and forth upon the storm I rode to wrestle with the angry giant. He smote me down, God took my life, the life I had flung down so lightly, and doomed me to perpetual strife of travel on the ocean nightly. In storm or calm, by star or cloud, my boat must plunge among the billows, while comrades round the hearthstone crowd, and children nestle in their pillows. Nor ever can my weary soul pass restfully through heaven's portals, till perfected hath been the whole of time decreed me among mortals. It ceased, the shadow drenched and pale, when slowly outward from the ingle the wind sent forth a keener wail, the surf groaned loudly on the shingle. In calm or storm, by star or cloud, doth Mary watch at dawn and gloaming. Each foam wreath seems a glistening shroud, each shadow seems a dark prow looming. She weeps when tempests will not rest, and wildly prays to blast and breaker. 'Twould be a blessing doubly blessed if God would pity her and take her. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of Dreams and Realities by Rosa Mulholland.